Hello everyone, welcome to my pickups video of March of 2022. Here is everything that I picked up this month. Let's get started. Start off with this Super Nintendo bundle that I got of someone online, and I got it for about half of what the total value in here is, and I got it for 1600 kroner. First we of course have a Super Nintendo, and the cables are somewhere in there buried. Let's take the games out one by one. First we have a complete copy of Doom. Sadly this is the only one that's complete, the rest are all loose games. And here we have a really expensive one. But sadly when I received it I found out that it's a fake game. So I can't legally sell it on. So this is either going in the trash or in my collection. And knowing me, I can't get myself to throw anything out, even if it's fake. So this is going in my collection. Then we have the Blues Brothers. Fun fact, when I first started collecting, I really wanted this game because I loved the Blues Brothers movie. But then I found out through reviews that it's terrible. But now I have it because it was part of this. Street Fighter 2, Super Mario World, Donkey Kong Country, Super James Bond, and The Magical Quest, Mario All-Stars, and The Addams Family. And then lastly, this is not a game, but the Super Game Boy. There's of course the cables, and then there's two controllers. One is a third-party controller, and there's also a original controller right here. Not only all of this, but there was also these magazines included. These are Nintendo Magazine, which is the Danish equivalent of Nintendo Power from America, or Club Nintendo from big parts of Europe. Anyway, these are really cool and are worth quite a bit. They go for, on the low end, 100 each. And there's, I think, 15 or 14 of these. So the fact that they came included in the 1600 kroner is really good. Anyway, let's move on to the next pickup. The second pickup of this month is this component cable for PlayStation consoles. It was 20 kroner, as you can see right there. And it is the official Sony made cables, which is a bit hard to find, especially here in Europe, where we primarily used SCART instead of component. Anyway, these go for like over 200, so to get one for market value, except it's missing a zero in the price, is really good. Then one day, as I was waiting for my dad to pick me up, I went to a local used video game, movies, TV shows, books and all sorts of stuff store, and I found some stuff. I found a few demo discs for the PS2, which I like to collect, 3 of them in total. There was a fourth one which I didn't have, but it had some weird marks on the disc. So I didn't pick that one up. It looked like it wouldn't play. But then there was also Outrun 2006, one of the harder games to find on the PS2. I got all of that for 110, which was a little more than I would have liked to pay, especially for these demos, as they are usually much cheaper, but oh well. I wanted to support them because I heard them say to another customer that they were closing by the end of the year because of low demand and high rent prices, so I wanted to support them. Something that, in my brutally honest opinion, is a much better video game store is Nintendo Pusher, or the Nintendo Pusher, located in Copenhagen. And I bought something from them because they have the biggest selection of box protectors in the country. Here's what I got. First was this cool demo disc, but for the Sega Saturn. I have a few for the PlayStation 1 and 2, only for PlayStation consoles. This is the first time I get something for a Sega console, or Nintendo, or Xbox for that matter. Then they had this one. This is a Dreamcast game, but brand new. It was one of those modern releases, homebrew, and I thought it looked cool. I'd never seen it before. Looking at it on their website, I looked it up. It looked cool, so I bought it. And then I bought Soviet Strike because I've played recently Jungle Strike on the Mega Drive / Genesis, and I really liked it. I didn't expect to like it, but I really did like it. So I wanted to pick up another game from the series. And then we come to the box protectors. There's a single unbranded, not a box protector but still protector, original for the NES, and then 5 for Game Boy games. And then here we have the modern protectors that aren't original. I'm not gonna go through these because they all look the same. Next up was this flea market find, where there was a booth which obviously was owned by a retro game collector like me. I found these two things. A Super Mario Bros. 3 VHS tape. It's some kind of TV show. I don't even have a VHS player, but next time I'm at my grandma's house, I'm going to bring this with me and watch it, because she still has one set up, but otherwise it's just going to be decoration. And then we have Shenmue 1 and 2 on the PS4, which I've been interested in trying for a while. That was 150 and 40, so that is 190 in total. Then at another thrift store I found this pack of DVD cases, which really are CD cases, but they say DVD. There's a bunch of them in here, and they are all empty, even though they originally came with a disc, but they are not there anymore. But I don't need the disc anyway. The reason I need them is because I have a bunch of games in these cases which are really thin, and from the side you can't tell what it is. So I want to change them over to these so there can be a spine on them. And that is it. It cost me 20 kroner. Next up was something which I bought of a collector, which I met on Facebook. First up there was this Sega Saturn game, which was just the disc and the case, no manual or cover art. And this is the first time that I see this type of Sega Saturn case, and it makes me wonder why they didn't just use this case for all Saturn games worldwide. Anyway, it wasn't just this. He was a big fan of the Sega Master System, and he let me buy some of his doubles for that system. He was very close to completing the Master System library. One thing that I picked up from him was Laser Ghost, which sadly does not have the manual, and then also Desert Speed Trap, which I think did have the manual. Yes, it did. There was these Master System games, and then also a Mega Drive game, which is World of Illusion with Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. I love these Disney games from the era, so this was also a nice pickup. This one is without manual. I think I paid 400 plus shipping, but I'm gonna have to double check that, but the total will be in the corner right there. When I see auctions for games that I really want but usually can't get myself to spend much money on, I just put in a low bid and forget about it, and 99% of the time I lose, someone bids over me. But sometimes I actually win with that really low bid, and this was a game which I won for I think 200 and something plus shipping. And it's one of the biggest games on the NES. I got Bucky O'Hare. Granted, it has a faded label, as you might be able to tell. This is supposed to be a striking yellow. It's closer to white, but still, Bucky O'Hare for 200 and something is really good. Next up is another really good deal that I got at a local thrift store. These two PS2 games, they are for reselling because I don't care about this franchise. But they were 2 kroner each. Just 2 kroner. So 4 in total for these, and I've seen these go for over 100 each. Up are some posters that was offered for free on mynintendo.com. Well, they're not free, but they cost 600 silver points, I think they're called. And I happen to have some points laying around, so I got these. I only had to pay the shipping, which was 299 euros. Yeah, there's not much to say about these, other than they are really cool and they are much bigger than I had expected. Here's a DS game for scale. Now from some Game Boy posters to an actual Game Boy game. This is one that I had already and bought for reselling purposes. It was an auction on a Facebook group, and I got it for just 25 kroner plus shipping, which was really cheap because these are small enough to just go in a letter. So I think it was 37 in total for this game. I could probably sell it for between 75 and 100, just as is. First some Game Boy posters, then a Game Boy game, and now we've reached an actual Game Boy, which was the next pickup for 249 kroner. It was an auction, two different auctions from the same guy. First there was this Game Boy, and then there was this game, The Little Mermaid. The Game Boy was apparently in working condition, but the seller didn't say anything about the screen cancer up in this corner and a little down here. But luckily it's outside of where the gameplay is. It also included this power supply for a Game Boy, which I've tested. It works just fine. You don't need batteries when you're using one of these. It's a British power supply, so it came with one of these, so I can use it where I live. And also a bit on this A Little Mermaid, because I saw that it had some value, but sadly it is a fake game, so it has no value instead. So that's a bummer. Also, I have two yellow Game Boys now, and they both have a few issues. Although this one is just the screen cancer. This one won't even turn on, but I know this screen works just fine. So I can mix the parts of these two and get one fully working yellow Game Boy and sell the other one that will come out of it. Next up is another Nintendo handheld that I got for 120 kroner shipped. I found a guy online selling some DS games because his DS was broken. So I asked him what was wrong with the DS and if he still had it. He did, and he would sell it to me. And the only thing that's wrong with this DSi is that down on the D-pad doesn't work, and that's a very easy fix. One of the many perks of buying video games from other regions is that it's from time to time a lot cheaper, which was the case with these two games that I got of someone local for 175, I think it was. First there was this game, Aerobiz. It's the American version. It is an airport simulation management tycoon something, I think. This was really cheap compared to what it usually goes for. And then there was this one. While I would prefer a European copy of this, an American will do just fine when it's this cheap. It is complete in the box, and I got it cheaper than a loose PAL copy would have cost me here, so that's very nice. And that was it for this episode, but also for this series, because making these pickups videos is very time consuming and tedious, and honestly I've come to the realization that I don't enjoy making them anymore. That's also why they usually come out so long after the month that they're supposed to be released in. Today is very late at night on Friday, the 21st of April, yet I just finished the March video. I've been making these videos just for personal and archival use since long before I made the channel, and I want to continue that. But not in form of videos anymore. I think that now they will be community posts on this YouTube channel, and I will make them much more regularly, but only with one pickup in each. And I hope that they'll be much less tedious to make. But anyway, I want to thank everyone who has watched my questionable financial decisions through the few last months, and I'll see you sometime in a video that isn't a pickups episode.